morning to you all. So let me hope we are all clear. This is East Africa Institute of Learning. So we are going to look at the process of state formation in Africa. So when you're looking at what we call state formation, this is the time when Africans started to set themselves into a kind of something we can call states, like kingdoms. So societies in Africa were never static. Africa was characterized by migrations, settlements, conquest, decline, and famine. So in some areas, communities were emerging to form what we call states. Others were collapsing. So as others were collapsing, some states were emerging. But these states emerged due to the influence of conquest. So, for instance, different groups used to attack each other, and once one was defeated, it ended up being conquered. And in the process of conquering that particular state, these states were later all emerged together or amalgamated, and they formed what we call kingdoms, chiefdoms, and other small societies. So during the state formation, there was conquest, there was amalgamation. Amalgamations, this is joining, uniting, bringing two parties together or more parties together, amalgamation. Separations were there, other societies were separating or splitting. There was a population increase and the abandonment of sedentary, shifting life system. So this is the time when different societies were developing, whereas others were collapsing, to form what we call kingdoms. Such kingdoms included the Mali, Segai, Bunyolo, Egypt, Ethiopia, Nuba, the Buganda, the Zulu of South Africa, Rwanda, Ankole, and the Monotapa kingdom. We have the Kong and the Mangrebu states. So this is the time when states were emerging, as others were collapsing, other societies were developing into states. So the most powerful traders, especially those dealing in slaves, ivory, ended up developing into kingdoms faster. They formed these kingdoms. So those states that were economically strong were able to form what we call kingdoms. Those that were economically weak, politically weak, and socially weak, they remained what we call stateless. But those that were politically, economically, socially strong and well structured, they formed what we call kingdoms, such as the Mirambo under Chifu Mirambo. Look at Tipu Tipu. We have Buganda under Kabaka. We have Bunyoro under Omukama Kabalega. These societies developed due to the fact that they were well structured with the able and capable strong leaders that played a bigger key in their formation. So it need to be mentioned as well that some kingdoms and states were dying out or collapsing as others were emerging. For instance, Bunyoro was declining as the Ethrotos province began asserting their independence and became kingdoms on their own right, and often better organized than the mother kingdom. So as Bunyoro was collapsing, the child that splintered from it, that is the Hithrota or Ethroto province, began to develop into a bigger and stronger kingdom, even it was more powerful than the mother kingdom. So this is the time when states are developing. This is the time when states are generating and emerging. So in some instances, a weaker kingdom would develop. Are we together? Would develop due to the fact that they had what we call stronger kings. They could develop with the effort of a stronger king. This king used to ascend to the throne in the form of what we call hereditary system. And they used to look at those kings that were strong. They looked at the kings that could fight, could stand, could defend the kingdom. At the time, they used not to take someone who was weak. They used to look at a person who was strong. They used to trust their kingdom or their states with the people whom they saw that they are capable of safeguarding the society. So these kings also did a lot of work in strengthening and expanding their kingdoms. They used to attack weak and weaker states and invading them, taking them now to be their own states. So there was what they call territory recovering. Look at the scenario when Omukama Kabalega had the conflict with the Kabaka of Buganda by the time. Omukama Kabalega, after him being a threat to Buganda, in 1900, Buganda got a chance and the missionaries or colonialists came to Kabaka's courts. They signed an agreement with the younger Kabaka, Daudi Chwa, at the age of 3 years. With the help of people like Stancius Mugwanya, Zachariah Singri, and Mukasa. They signed this agreement, and this agreement, the Kabaka was to be helped by the white man, by the Europeans, to defeat Omukama Kabalega. So after Kabalega's defeat by the Kabaka, Buganda ended up confiscating or being rewarded Bugangaizi and Buyaga. These were the two territories that once belonged to Bunyoro. So at the end of the day, Buganda Kingdom expanded towards the areas of Bunyoro when they took Bugangaizi and Buyaga. So this strengthened the kingdom of Buganda, though it created future enemies of Buganda. So Bunyoro and Buganda, they became future enemies. By the end of the day, the state of Buganda became more strong and stronger than the way it was before. That's why you say this is the time when some states were collapsing as others were developing. But this was done with strong efforts from the leaders of these particular kingdoms. Remember, a kingdom must be having a king. A chiefdom must be having a chief. So other societies remained societies stateless, whereas others developed into what we call a kingdom. Why? It was because of their political, social, and economic strength or strong structures. All together? So this is the time when we say that some kings did what we call claimed more territories for their states. This is the time when the kings now started to attack weaker states, developing their states into stronger states. At the end of the day, it developed their societies into stronger states. So we say some societies, however, lied between what we call statelessness, and other kingdoms were organized based on clan. So some communities lay between stateless and kingdoms through clan organization, and clan heads were physically visible and political leaders, where the physical visible are political leaders. In case such societies were progressing towards the state formation. So those so-called stateless kingdom or segmentalized states had what we call elders helping in governing. They could come in a society, they look at people whom they took to be elders, they used them to help them in governing, they used them to help them in structuring laws and orders, promoting peace, harmony in the society. So it was the role of the elders to teach and promote peace in the stateless kingdoms. Sorry, beg your pardon. It was the role of the elders to promote peace in the stateless societies. Don't say stateless kingdoms, because a kingdom is a kingdom and the stateless means they are not under what we call a monarchy. So this is the time when African groups or societies began to transform into what we call societies. This is the time when African groups or societies began to transform into what we call states. So, state formation is the period when African societies developed into kingdoms, chiefdoms, and stronger states. But stateless, they did not have a standing army. It was the role of the youth to come, stand, and protect the society. When you go to the state kingdoms, they had what they call a well-prepared and developed strong army, which was there to do what they call protection of the state, which was there to do what they call raiding, so on and so forth. So I beg to stop there. When we come back, we shall look at the ancient civilization of the African continent. Have a good day.